Welcome to PARAMERICAN RADIO, everybody. As always, I am your host, Chad Calek, along with my co-host, Mr. Justin Holstein. No clever lead-ins today. Too busy to even think of one, man. So today you're just my best friend. You're just hanging. And what an amazing night last night. Stop. Hold on. I did not jump right into introducing our... I got used to the fact that we had somebody on. Usually Steve's in the corner. Everybody to our Tinder Steve fans out there. He is, of course, back in his co-host chair. Tinder Steve, how are you doing, buddy?
Pretty good, man. Well, pretty roughed up from last night.
Pretty roughed up. See, just to let everybody know, we filmed with Mr. Super Agent, Mr. Rich Super. He came in. He was on the podcast. He killed it. He was such a good personality, such a good guy. He had been telling me for a while that he owns a brewery. And I hadn't seen it yet. He kept saying, you know, I kind of felt bad because he invited me down a couple times, and I was just so fucking busy. I didn't. But make a long story short, he took us down there. And what an amazing place.
Yeah, huh? I loved it. And it's huge. That has so much potential, man, for a lot of different things.
It's called Santa Monica Brew Works. It's just a few blocks away from where we're at. And, it's he has a microbrewery, and they ship and distribute all throughout California. But they have a little bar inside, and they had the food truck outside, which is a brilliant idea. And it was just super cool to spend time with him and to get to hear a lot more about his backstory. Guys, I learned just as much as you guys did about his bits and pieces, but you don't spend a lot of time going, you know what I mean? It's like we're handling business when we're talking, and you don't, especially when you become friends with somebody, you're not like, so tell me about your past, tell me about the famous people you worked with, you know? So things come out all the time that I learned. I mean, I had no idea that he worked with Richard Pryor. I had no idea, there's huge names that this guy's been involved with, and he always tells me really interesting stories that come out. But what a cool guy. I think the thing that I see in him is when you see people that are successful at what it is that they do, they have a true passion for it. They have a true passion for it. And Richard, and you could see it at his brewery when we were there, the way he took care of us. Right. He genuinely enjoys you enjoying yourself, I mean, he wouldn't let me pay for anything. I mean, he wouldn't let me go get my food, you know what I mean? He wouldn't let me get another root beer. He told me to tell us all tonight, go down there if we want, just tell him it's Rich. I'm just like, Rich, it's cool. Like, I mean, you gotta be careful. I don't know if I'd tell Steve and Justin to put the beer tab on your fucking tab, dude, but it must have been pretty good beer because you guys were fucked up fast.
That's another hint of how much he pays attention to detail, man. I mean, not only is the beer good, but if you just look at the layout, the amount of thought and time, he walks out, he hands us each a bag. The design, the color, thought, there's just a lot of detail work that he figured out. But that beer, gosh.
And they were crazy beers. He was like, I don't drink, but he was saying, this one's like a chocolate vanilla, like this, that. I was like, chocolate vanilla, what the fuck? Yeah. But they had 21 different beers on tap there. Oh, wow. 21 original beers that they came up with on tap. And he said they're constantly evolving and making new ones and constantly testing and trying things out every day. And so it was super cool to get to spend time just talking with him about life and just hanging, you know what I mean? And Thomas and I, one of the things we want to do is we one day want to have and we want the type of club that Thomas told me the story about this club he went to in San Francisco, I think it was, where it was about the music. Like, people knew that when the artist plays in this club, you shut the fuck up. You know what I mean? Like, you go there to listen to tunes. You know what I mean? And that's what this place became known for. You know what I mean? And a lot of it was, like a lighter music. Obviously, there's no metal bands there, stuff like that. But, somewhere between like an acoustic type of thing to like even like spoken word. Like, one day I would love to have that little space that's respected for that, and it's a true like passion thing.
If they're good enough, here's the way. So in the Quad Cities, Sean Moeller, who runs Day Trotter, very similar to that.
Yeah. Okay.
Everybody dead quiet, focused, stands and watches.
Yeah.
it's kind of annoying as shit when the artist isn't that great. Because
I could see.
Your feet are kind of hurting.
You want someone good, yeah.
You kind of feel like there's tension in the room, and everybody's like wants to sit or go do something, or start talking or drinking, because it's like, I don't know, they're not too bad, but it's like nothing that you would. When an artist is so great, they command your attention. You know, you want to go listen to them. Nobody has to.
No live scenario works with a bad artist.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. I don't care what it is. You know, in a bar where you talk a lot and the band sucks, it's annoying too, because you're just like, shut up. You know what I mean? So, but the point kind of being is just that you have those like passion type things you want to do. Yeah, and it was cool to see that Richard had that. You know, it was just cool. I was just impressed by all of it, you know. And he had me on the phone at 8 a.m. this morning. So, I mean, I took him back, and I didn't even know what the fuck time he got home, because I dropped him off probably at 11:30, and he was he got blocked in, and he was running around trying to be on time for us, and he misplaced his keys. So he found him, and he drove home. But yeah, just a cool guy. It was a good evening. And what'd you guys do today? I saw you smoke or posted a 420 thing. What'd you guys get high today or something? You fuckers. No.
Wait, what?
You posted a 420 Snoop Dogg thing.
It's 420 today.
Oh, it's 420 today. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was just like, are those fuckers smoking weed right now? They're fucking working, those cocksuckers. No, I just saw that 420. I was like, that's pretty funny.
We did go to
California. It's like fucking, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, it is legal now here, yeah, right? It passed, right?
It did, but it hasn't like gone into effect yet.
Oh, really? When does it go into effect?
I don't know. See, that's what I don't understand with when laws get passed, why it takes so long in order for...
Yeah, I voted for it. It was one of those things. I wish I could... Like I said, I don't smoke, so I don't really share everybody's joy with it, but I was just like, man, come on. I mean, it's not a big deal, you know?
Pretty much everybody kind of does it.
Well, it is anyways. You can get a medical card in 30 minutes, anywhere.
I had a friend come from Canada, and he got one.
Yeah, no.
You don't even have to get from America.
I've not done it, but the process, from what my neighbors have done it, they said the process is you walk in, they just here to meet the Kush doctor, you know what I mean? They sit down, they hand you a piece of paper that has 115 ailments on it. You have to check one that you have. And they go click, psh, psh, you just press, you know what I mean? Bam, done. Pay you $30, you're out the door.
You can do it over the phone too now.
That's crazy. You can just straight down, pick up your shit. It's like, what the fuck? That's crazy, you know?
Yeah. Did you get a new hat, by the way?
This is it's a different hat, but it's an older one, kind of the same thing. Yeah, I swapped it up from the gray one. The gray one was getting a little sweaty, so I can only wear the same hat in the sun for so long, you know what I mean? Why, do you not like my old hat or something?
No, I do. It's weird to see you wearing a maroon color.
So you don't like this hat? Is that what you're trying to say to me?
No, I like that.
No, you kind of pointed out like you didn't like it, Steve. That's all I'm saying. And now you're kind of laughing at my hat. So is there something wrong with my hat?
It's a nice hat.
Usually I wear this hat. This is the hat I wore on tour a lot. I like the gray one too. I'll have new hats for this tour. We'll get some cool Sir No Face hats. So
yeah,
I'm ready for that.
Bright pink.
What else is new to you guys? Anything new in your guys' life? What's up? You're heading out of town here to do some more shooting again at the end of the first of the month, right?
Huh?
In May? Aren't you heading out in May?
I'm going to Asia.
Asia?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ! How long are you gonna be there?
10 days.
What are you going over there to do?
You know, I have like a friend that's going there, and I've never been there, and I'm just like, I'm young. I was like, you know what? And it's really cheap flying to Asia, man. You can get tickets for like $450 round trip.
Wow.
Yeah, it's ridiculously cheap. So I was like, you know what? The tickets are cheap. It's going to be cheap there. I'll make it work.
Oh, you mean like in Vietnam and
right. Yeah. So I'm flying into Bangkok. I have a layover in Beijing, which I might go out and check out. And then from there, everything's up in the air. I'm probably going to go to Vietnam, maybe Borneo.
Do you know that, what is his name? I love him. He has all the food shows. He travels, Bourdain.
Oh, yeah.
His favorite city in the world is Vietnam. It's his favorite city in the world, Vietnam.
Wait.
Anthony Bourdain.
Bourdain. Wait, no, but Vietnam's a country.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, the country. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
Did I say city? Sorry, I meant country. I'm sorry. No, his favorite country in the world is Vietnam. Yes.
Huh.
He says the food, the people, the landscape, just like everything.
You know
it's his favorite place.
You know what I'm going to do in Vietnam? There's this place called Hell's Temple. And you go there and you pay like a donation, and a monk, they look at you and they like get your aura, and then they choose a tattoo for you.
Oh wow!
And they choose where they put it and what it is, and they use like the needles to.
Yeah, the old school way to do it. Wow.
Yeah, it's a cool idea though.
That's
right?
like the one. I've never been to Asia anywhere. I mean, I'd love to. I've heard Bangkok is super cheap to go. I've also heard. I just watched this whole thing about how Thailand is supposedly crazy, cheap, like like the American buck's like worth 5 times what it is over there.
Remember Michael Davis? Michael Altman Davis, he would go there, Thailand. He said, "Yeah, you get 3 girls the whole weekend for $25
oh,
for each girl."
Jesus, my God. There's this guy I watch online that's kind of an urban explorer, and he just moved there. And he's got this property, like, right on the water, dude. I mean, the dopest shit I've ever seen. And he bought it, $30,000 cash, and the contract for it, 1 page long. And it pretty much said, this is my property. You're giving me the money. Once I accept it, it's your property. You know, I'll take care of the taxes till this day. That's what he said he loved about it. He was like, I love that about Thailand. Everything's simple, straight up. People are just like, let's handle shit. You know what I mean?
And do most people speak English or what?
It is spoken there. And see, the thing about English is it's kind of spoken most places in the world to some degree because it's about this. It's about Jack.
Not in Ukraine. Not in.
Sure, I'm not saying there's not pockets, but like if you go anywhere that has any kind of what do you call it? Metropolitan.
Right.
If there's a metropolitan area, you can probably get around speaking English for the most part.
A lot of it just the banking system that they're on. I mean, Russia, China, they don't necessarily as much have to. They're on a different system and they're
Americans have done a ton of business in Thailand too. You know what I mean? It's like we manufacture shit's made over there. You know what I mean? And just so, but I know it's not the first spoken language at all. Not at all. You know. But Casey Neistat, who you know him, right? YouTube. Casey,
yeah.
He went to there with his son, and they pretty much made their way around in English for the most part. People knew enough broken English to kind of point them. You know what I mean? And it's pretty easy to figure out. Like I need to eat. You know what I mean? Use the phone. You know what I mean? Shit like that. People figure it out pretty easily.
I mean, I'm more worried. I wonder how like in China, because there's no way you can dissect the language. Like to us, it just looks like a bunch of symbols.
Yeah,
I wonder how.
Again, China, they do a lot of business with us. It's
So you think the street names are in Chinese and in English?
No, I don't think the street names are. Yeah, that'll be tough. I don't. Again, Thomas has spent time there. I mean, he would know. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think I don't think the streets are in English. Not at all. I mean,
no.
Well, I just mean again, if you go down to the metropolitan areas and the downtown of like the big parts, then you'll be able to get around with English. But it's just when you get away from the city. It's just like Mexico. You know, it's like you go to any of the tourist areas, right?
Right.
English straight up. Go 10 blocks in, not so much. You know what I mean? It's at that point, it's like, nah. You know, so. Yeah. Wherever a lot of money is made, that's where people are going to speak English, basically. That's how it's going to come down to.
Yeah.
But having said that, man, listen, we're back into our normal format. So it is time right away to peel open the rabbit hole. And Justin's going to jump on my shoulders. I'm going to kick both my feet in the rabbit hole. He's going to nudge me to jump. I'm going to say, I agree. Let's jump. Let's go find Stevie. We just did that. And now that I found you, Stevie... Give me some news from the rabbit hole.
All right. So I got a pretty good new guest that we can possibly get. Billy Corgan. He went on the Raven Effect podcast, where he discussed conspiracy theories about 9/11, assassination of JFK, assassination of Robert Kennedy, and he didn't say yes, I believe it, but he was entertaining. He was entertaining the idea.
Well, he is a huge conspiracy theorist. Billy Corgan is. I mean, he was propping Zeitgeist, but he named an album Zeitgeist. He named an album Zeitgeist to promote Zeitgeist because he so believed in it. His part was, well, fuck it, I'm just gonna name my album Zeitgeist. People say, what the fuck is that? And I can tell them it's this movie. Go see it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he's been on Alex Jones's show a shitload. Billy Corgan. Oh yeah, Billy Corgan's been on InfoWars. Yeah, he's a huge conspiracy theorist. Yeah. Well, I tell you one guy today. I ended up, because we talked Flat Earth last night. I ended up watching over lunch today a bunch more Flat Earth stuff, including if you guys, you know who Eddie Bravo is, Joe Rogan. Joe just fucking rips him apart. And part of it is Joe is a really good speaker. You know, he's got the English language mastered, and you can tell Eddie Bravo. You know, some people. It's like if I'm talking to Terry Inger, he's no less smarter than I am, but I'm just more of a wordsmith, right?
Right.
So in an argument, I'm gonna have the upper hand. You know, that's kind of how I saw with Joe and Eddie is that. You know, Joe had the upper hand on the show, and
Joe
Eddie,
was basically saying he was against the flat Earth.
Well, he was against. Yeah. Well, basically, you know, Eddie was saying. He was saying, why do you go to conspiracy every time something comes from the government? He's just going, too many lies, dude. Too many fucking lies. And I just can't buy into the fact that everything I see from them, I just can't take it for, you know, and he was just saying, Joe was saying, well, listen, by going to conspiracy every time, the disservice that you're doing yourself is that there are real events that happen that you don't believe that are impactful, that you miss.
Right.
Sure.
You know, which there's, that's a valid point.
Yeah.
But there's also a valid point to say, but how do I pick and choose what I believe? You know what I mean? These guys have fucked us. The problem is, it's kind of agreed for the most part that we faked, you know, like 6 different moon missions, you know? Most people that I've looked into it have said, yeah, we think we can go now. We think that technology was developed and we overcame all this stuff. But we probably didn't go then. And we were in a big-time political race. And it's pretty clear we did some funky film shit, you know? So I think people kind of accept that. But and that was kind of, you know... And it's hard to get past once you know, it's like a regular relationship, right? If I lie to you a bunch of fucking times, you're not going to believe me when I bring up shit, you know?
A lot of people, I mean, that aren't that... Depending on your education level or your understanding level of society, or you may not understand that, like, say, for instance, if you get your news from yahoo.com, that you go there thinking, okay, they wouldn't have put this on yahoo.com if it wasn't a known thing, right? Well, no, people are paying for paid positions, ads.
It's all driven. It's revenue driven. Right, exactly.
They target,
and the world's waking up to that now, though.
Yeah.
Big time now.
So you buy your own news. So if I'm interested in conspiracy, all of a sudden, all these conspiracies are showing up on the front page of yahoo.com, right? Because, again, and a lot of these... because they want to give people what they want to read. So, you know, I bet you anything if I started looking flat Earth, they would start having flat Earth things that, you know, pop up on there.
Do you have Alex Jones in the news coming up with him?
No.
Okay, big Alex Jones. I thought this was hilarious. And this speaks exactly what you're saying. So Alex Jones' wife is going after custody of their kids.
Yeah.
And they're in court going to present all this whack ass footage of him, you know, off the grid on his show, right? And he in court came forward and his defense, and this was like in transcript, was that Alex Jones is a made up character, and it's a person that I play on you know what I mean? It's not who I am. I'm a member of a country club. I like do this, all that stuff. But he was the one saying this. That you can't use that footage against me. I'm a paid entertainer. Well, this is who I am.
There are people that
I made up.
There are people that believe that he's a CIA operative and stuff. I've heard a lot of people talk about
Well, he's fighting for his kids now. In order to save his kids, he was like, total character that's made up. You know, you could tell that when Rogan brought him on, and they smoked dope and fucking did shots.
Smoked?
And, he got fucking ripped. Yeah, and the whole time he was totally playing it off like. They kept asking him different stuff about big shit, you know, UFOs, aliens, all this stuff, and he was, all of his answers were kind of like, well, I don't believe that stuff, do I? Do I believe in that? No. You know what I mean? Just totally playing it down, kind of like saying, come on, guys, you guys know what I do for a living, right? You know what I mean?
Part of it is, man, I heard this because I tuned into one of his shows, or actually, I watched this onto a YouTube clip, so because I was really interested in Peter... The Zeitgeist,
yeah.
Peter Joseph.
Yep.
And he was going to be on Alex Jones. And he basically, first part of the interview, pretty interesting. Alex and Jones and Peter Joseph going back and forth. He's asking him questions, validating some of the things he's saying. They go to a commercial break and they come out. And at different points in his show, it's opening up to different audiences. You know, at this point of the day in the show, they're going to open up to this bigger, larger audience. Maybe it's Texas-based or whatever.
Right.
He comes in attacking out of the commercial Peter Joseph. And just cutting in, and when they go to the next commercial break, he starts talking, and Peter Joseph is going like, "Yeah, sir, what's going on, dude?" You know. And he's like, seriously, I mean, this is not, you know, and he, you could hear the whole thing's recorded. The commercial breaks everything, right, of this interview. And he's basically trying to validate, well, we got different viewer and listener bases, and, you know, listen, you can defend your position if, it totally just changed his dynamic depending on who is going to be listening to him. So first and foremost, he's a capitalist. He's about making money. That's what his
totally,
thing is
dude.
about.
Well, and he's been busted for all kinds of fake news. Look, I mean, he was the guy who initially pushed Pizzagate, and then he turned around and said he got pushed into a corner where nothing panned out, and he was just like, okay, sorry, yeah, it was all bullshit. Sorry, we thought we were getting our facts from the right place, and you know, he's pushing Trump, and he's Trump's buddy. Why the fuck wouldn't you want him to become president? He's known him forever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But the weird thing about him is where he loses me, man, is his fucking devil Satanist shit. Like everyone's devil worshippers.
Get behind me, Satan! Down with the devil! Down with the fraud! Get out of the road! Get behind me! You understand that? Get out of the road, New World Order. Get out of my mind. Get out of my free will. Get out of my way. Humanity is going interstellar.
You know, he gets those crazy eyes like, we're tired, you devil worshippers. It's like, dude, you're a fucking whack job right now. And and I'm sure they're going to use that footage in court of him acting that way, you know, because it's totally crazy. But I just thought it was cool that it was on record now that he's like saying, no, Alex Jones is a character that's completely made up. And it serves its purpose, you know what I mean? His job is to create fear. That's what he does. Anyways, what else you got for us?
There is a police force that is specifically geared towards paranormal activity. It's in Nevada, and it's called the Navajo Nation Rangers.
Really?
And they take it really serious. Like they're a legit police force. You know,
wow.
They collect hair samples, foot like dirt samples.
That's dope.
Yeah, like full on police force.
That's awesome. The reason I think it's awesome is, as you guys know, obviously, with my experiences and with Sir No Face, I am a firm motherfucking believer that ghosts exist. As the definition being responsive energy of some kind that can act upon this world without your control. I believe 100% that exists. I know what it did in my home. Even you said to this day it freaks you out thinking about my home. There should be something. And part of the reason I wanted to become a ghost hunter and to do all this stuff, because I wanted to gain enough knowledge where I could talk to someone credibly and be like, listen, I'm not an expert, but I'm an authority. I've dealt with this enough. I can tell you things that happen. I can tell you what not to do. I can tell you you'll be okay if this doesn't. You know what I mean? I think it's awesome that there's, especially a Navajo group, an earth-based religion, because they get it. They fucking get it. Like, they know, you know.
The Navajo, no.
Well, it's that whole shit, like, you know, it's, Mexican Indian, you son of a bitch. I will find the way, and the way is west. You know what I mean? These guys fucking know, you know? They've done this forever. They've been praying and working off the spirit world forever, you know? And, I mean, look, here's the thing. How many fucking crazy, bizarre things, out of all the, think about this, out of all the crazy paranormal stuff out there, okay? Bigfoot, Loch Ness Monster, any kind of cryptid in general, UFOs, ghosts, all that shit. What is the only one that consistently cranks out questionable footage at a ridiculous rate every time you fucking go out? Almost every time you go out to a haunted location and spend any real amount of time there and set shit to film shit, something happens. You know, you got to think, our ghost hunts that we go on, what did we have in the last couple tours we've done, Justin? The Bird Theater, the thing you were at right there. There was like another couple others. So maybe 4 out of like 40 of them, right? We were only ghost hunting for 45 minutes to an hour. When we were doing Rising, we were spending 8 hours a night. You know? Almost all these places, if they're real, if we spend enough time there, we're going to start cracking shit. Look at Craig. They spent 2 years at one place, and they were filming mind-bending shit. So out of all of them that exist in the paranormal, there's only one that continually cranks out evidence of things that don't make sense. The UFO one, you could argue that one does. But the thing is, that's indefensible because we also fly. Our own stuff is also flying around.
Sure. Right?
So you can't say that's alien or not. But when you're filming something and it goes, that shouldn't happen. What the fuck? Or you watch a shadow, no one's in the room, just go whoop across. And you're like, whoa, that should not happen.
Yeah.
That's like, no, can't be that. It's like, no, bullshit. And I'm tired of pretending like, oh, we can't say it's. There are things that I know that I've seen that I can't quantify, right? Like when I'm sitting in a room and I like watch something go, and I'm like, what the fuck? Or when I hear a voice and no one's there and I'm asking a question and I hear it respond to me and nobody's there. Or in your case, with the water, the thing hitting and also, these things. So it's like, it gets to the point where it's like, I'm not going to say anymore that I don't fucking believe this because someone might have an objection to it. And, if I saw a plane go down, I wouldn't go, oh, I don't know if I should say I saw it go down. I know I saw it go down. I'm going to say I saw it,
Right.
That's the only part of the paranormal that every fucking time is verifiable. I knew, Steve, you were going to have your experience. I knew at some point on that tour, it's going down. I know it is. We're in too many haunted places, too many times for too long. And how I looked at it is, usually if I could break it down to an hourly equation, I would say probably every 40 hours of ghost hunting to 80, somewhere in there, at least one odd thing will happen. So I looked at our tour thinking we got 25 shows or 20 shows, a couple hours of ghost hunting a night, probably 40 hours there. At some point, Steve's going to experience something. And I waited for it. I sat there waiting for it. It's going to happen. And then, obviously, it happened on a grand level. I mean, it happened to you on a smaller level here and there, tiny things.
Yeah, a couple times.
But that was a grand level, what you experienced. You can feel the energy. We talked about that before, too, where you feel like a place is live, and then you can tell when it's gone. I mean, we've done it many times before. We're in a room, and it's like, when something starts, like, oh, fuck, you can just feel it. And then you go to a different place, and you're like, that should be just as scary. And you're like, I could play hopscotch here. You know what I mean? I'm totally fine. I shouldn't be freaked out, but I don't know. But anyways, point being is, when it comes to the paranormal, I think ghosts are the only, really thing that today can be kind of thrown out there. Where did we start this one either? God, we're going way off, but it's good conversation. It's good stuff. Well, where did it start out again? The Navajo cops.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Props to them, man. I would love was there any information on how many cases they have or who they help or anything like that? Or
yeah, well, they even gave, would you like a specific example?
Yeah.
So, in one of the more solid cases, a mother and daughter describe a mass of lights floating over uninhabited reservation land in January. As they watched, the lights blinked out after a few seconds, followed by a sonic boom, a black domed craft, and the entire town of Chinle losing power.
And that was in Nevada?
Yeah.
So that sounds like some our aircraft shit, you know what I mean? Like a sonic boom, people lose power, you know what I mean?
Yeah, they're looking for Bigfoot, because they're getting reports of Bigfoot.
Yeah, Nevada, I've heard about that. Yeah, there's an actual Bigfoot team in Nevada, too. Anyways, having said that, we are going to take a break, and when we come back, we will do current events. I will have a movie review, and we will have more fan questions, everybody. Good to be back in our normal swing of things here. Good to have you back, Steve.
Thanks.
Good times. All right, we'll be right back with more PARAMERICAN Radio.
PARAMERICAN Radio will be right back after this commercial break with even more dope-ass shit.
In a distant land where magic is as real as the rainbow, in a place where nature exceeds imagination, a paranormal investigative team led by a man named Craig Powell has captured something on film, something that will change the world. I have seen Sir No Face, and soon you will too.
And we are back with more Paramerican Radio. Steve, let me know what is going on in the non-weird, non-bizarre, non-strange, but ever so weird world of current events. What's happening?
The U.S. is prepping charges currently against Julian Assange. And I don't know if you remember, but during the Obama administration, Eric Holder, he didn't want to put charges against him because he said it would be too complicated. That's why they went after Manning. But now they are. And I read this on CNN, and CNN didn't talk about what this meant, but maybe now the U.S. will have more authority to extradite him, or I don't know. So this might be, I mean, it could mean absolutely nothing, or it can mean that Assange is finally going to go down.
It's really interesting because in a lot of ways, Assange is a fucking hero. And where he fucked up is picking a side. I think that's where he really fucked up. He clearly supported Trump. He clearly tried to character assassinate Hillary. And before that, if you look at his history, it was just pointed at what he himself referred to as, he said, I love smashing bastards. And that's kind of what his MO was. If you're a bastard, he's going to come after you. And then it was kind of like it reminded me of Michael Moore made Fahrenheit 9/11. That's where he lost me. Not that it wasn't an enjoyable or fun documentary, but it was so like, I just fucking hate your guts, George W. Bush, and I'm going to make this movie to fucking burn you. Like, that's just what it felt like, you know?
Well, it's interesting, though, because now he supported this current administration, and now they're going after him.
Yeah. I think that's probably a move to try to distance themselves from him, right? To say,
Sure.
No, we didn't have him. We're going after him. You know what I mean? If that's what he did, we're going after him. Weird situation. He lost a lot of points with me, for that. Well, here's the thing. The bottom line is, unless we're going to send in the military to drag his physical ass out of that embassy, the Ecuadorian, he's not going anywhere. As long as he stays inside the Ecuadorian embassy, he's not going anywhere. I mean, as long as they don't have an agreement.
The U.S. doesn't have extradition with them?
Not with Ecuador. That's why he's there. Nobody does. Ecuador.
Well, I thought he was there because Sweden didn't have jurisdiction.
Well, England will arrest him too. He's there. The Ecuadorian embassy granted him asylum. That means they will not work with anybody to force him to leave. I mean, you can have asylum here at the embassy.
Right. I wonder if the U.S. has a bigger push.
If he takes one step outside that fucking door, he's going to be grabbed or shot. One of the two.
The U.S. and I don't know how the relations with U.S. and Ecuador are, but
politically they can work that out.
Exactly.
Sure. If they gave them enough money or enough shit, they'd eat them over on a platter.
Or put sanctions on them and
right. There's all kinds of shit they can do to bring them to the table. But as the law stands right now, I mean, he can't be grabbed, and I think he just knows that he won't live long outside, But he also has a kill file too, so that'd be crazy. Like if he goes down, shit's set up for him to release all kinds of stuff. So,
but if he says it's that bad, he should release it. That's what's kind of.
Of course, it's a big thing, right? It could be like you're using the system to protect you and fuck others, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So he's lost a lot of credibility doing some of this shit. So, anyways, what else you got, man?
This was in Massachusetts. 20,000 drug convictions got dismissed over misconduct from a chemist. This chemist's name is Annie Ducan, and from 2003 to 2012, she contaminated drug samples, falsified results, and mishandled evidence to help the police. So, for example, if she tested something and didn't find any drugs, she would put drugs in it.
Wow.
So 20,000 convictions from 2003.
Got overturned.
Yeah.
Wow.
Right. Which again, this kind of goes to the Stephen Avery case. Is it really that unheard of that the police falsified the samples?
So 20,000 people are being let out of prison?
Pretty much.
That's fucking.
I mean,
sick.
some of them could have already
died or whatever, but that's crazy,
finished their
dude.
sentence.
Wow.
The thing is that really all those films and all those the social movements are pointing towards the direction that this is a systematic problem, right?
Right.
The problem is systematic it's like that. The prosecutor who's lived in this community for a long time, who knows the chief of police, who's buddy with knows the cops.
Yeah.
The cop, they're going to automatically take their side. I mean, if you're ever involved in your city planning and city operations, and you understand the way the legal system works, and you have a position somewhere in there where you see this, it becomes very apparent there's a systematic issue going on here, right? Now, the people want to look the other way because it's like, well, yeah, but do we have a better system? No, going once? Okay, so I guess
I didn't even notice that people don't want to look the other way. I think people don't know how to fight it. You know what I mean? Like, we're not set up to feel as though we can defeat the police or anybody else. You know, we don't see it, right? We see police officers killing motherfuckers and not even getting indicted. This happens constantly. So why would I feel like I could beat the system? You know? I mean, it's just not, I don't think it's so much looking the other way, because I don't think you look the other way. I don't think I look the other way, but what can we do? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And no one really knows that answer yet. What can we do? And the sad answer, probably the slow process, which is to organize on some front, battle for legislation and change, and it just takes forever. And the only other option is the Malcolm X way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which is to throw down, which we've seen in St. Louis. You know what I mean? When people just say "fuck this," you know?
Yeah.
All right, what else you got? Give me one more, then we're gonna go to movie reviews.
A Russian oil company named Rosneft is about to buy out the rest of the debt of Citgo. So a Russian company is going to own one of the biggest oil companies in the U.S.
Yeah.
And I think the Senate, it said the Senate had like a hearing about it. There's like Marco Rubio made like a statement about it. Everyone's like really concerned, and this one's good because is there a conspiracy going on with, I don't even want to get into that
Trump,
part.
yeah. Well, now here's the thing. Look, beyond even that, I just watched this really cool episode of Vice where they were showing how this 16-year-old kid, Vice did that documentary about the Great North Pacific trash dump in the ocean that's swirling around and all that. Well, they found 4 more since then. Wow. There's 5 total in the world. The North Pacific one being the largest and the worst. This 16-year-old kid has raised fucking millions. And you see this massive shit he's built. I mean, they installed this system that is essentially going to capture it and remove it. And they think it's going to be 95% effective its first time out. And not only that, it takes all the plastic that exists, melts it, and then chops it back into pellets again, which is what they all buy, plastic pellets, and goes back out. So the cost and the creation of that no longer exists to the company. It'll basically save tons of companies tons of money, but it'll now obviously clean up the oceans. And this kid, basically said there's a massive, problem, and people usually think that there's massive problems that require massive solutions. And the solution was actually simple. It's just a net system that used the current of the ocean to capture it all. And if you left it up for a certain time period, instead of swinging all the way around, it would all capture on this side. They could just grab it, take it out. You know what I mean? But it's a 16-year-old that did this. And he talked about thinking of the new world the way it's going to be. All of these wars for oil, right, are because oil is coming to an end. It is a finite resource. We will continue to find ways to develop it, but everybody already knows that fracking is like fucking bad. Like even the fucking frackers know it's fucking. I mean, you're going down into the plates of the earth and setting off bombs. I mean, over 1,000 earthquakes took place in Oklahoma. Wow. 1,000 last year. Obviously, this is bad, but the companies that have, oil the longest. I just saw this report. It was a guy who basically was on, what talk shows? He was on Shane Smith type talk show. He's basically saying the battle is this. This was surprising to me when I thought about it. He's like, the company that maintains the oil the longest, they have the longest time to convert, to get off oil, right? So the longer I have it, the longer I could refine the process of being independent from it, right? Versus those that just run out of it quickly, they're fucked, and there's going to be some societal issues across the board.
Yeah.
And they were saying that's really what the battle is about, longevity. The people that will be able to make the switch over to, you know, natural and hydrogen and all that stuff, the slowest will be the most stable and will remain in the most control of everything. So that's really kind of what they're battling over. So I'm not surprised that Russia is making moves, obviously, for this. We know oil's in Syria. That's why they're fucking there, you know, doing that shit. It's just all the way across the board. I mean, you look at what it's done. What the Industrial Revolution has done to the planet is fucking mind-blowing. Mind-blowing. And we're seeing it now. Like we said, it's not a problem for the next generation. It's right now. You know, which is crazy. So, anyways, having said that, you know, usually I do movie reviews, but Justin actually brought up a movie that I had seen. And it is Hell or High Water, right?
Yeah.
Hell or High Water. And I'm going to let him review it, actually. He watched it more recently than I did. And I think it's your type of movie, too. I dug it. So go ahead.
Yeah. A buddy of mine turned me on to this, Terrell Mayhew. Terrell, if you're listening, thanks for the info. Anyway, I sat down and watched this film. As I'm watching it, it almost starts off like Bo and Luke Duke robbing banks, right? You feel like two brothers robbing banks, fast-paced. Okay, so is it a bank robbing movie? You know, action, somebody gets killed, etc. Right? Well, as you know, as soon as they establish that, it jumps to this secondary story of Jeff Bridges, who's playing this. He was a Texas Ranger, right?
Yeah.
So
and they're
sheriff,
they're very formal.
Like that, yeah.
It's that old formal, you know, Texas Ranger thing going on, and he's retiring. So he's got this Mexican partner, and he's completely politically incorrect, calling him every little, you know, joke.
But he's Native American, I thought.
Well, he's partly Native American, partly Mexican. So he's hitting both ends of it, right?
Yeah.
Right.
So, and you can tell over time, though, it's his way of making buddies with him, you know?
Yeah, it's endearing.
Yeah.
He's not being a straight racist to him. Right, yeah.
Right. And I think this guy knows, even though it still upsets him at times. But, you know, as this film evolves, you're trying to figure out what is this director trying to say exactly? Because generally there's a purpose behind why somebody made a film. You know, they take the script, they develop it towards, this is the ending, this is what I want to say, is my social commentary, right? So I really couldn't tell for the longest time. Jeff Bridges is trying to find out who these guys are, who's robbing these banks. They keep hitting banks over and over. His brother is this ex-military guy. So there's this backstory of a guy who gave his life to the military, who's pretty, you know, American service, who's fucked in the head. There's little comments at times where even there's a scene where the Texas Rangers, Jeff Bridges and this Mexican Indian side partner are sitting there, and they basically are waiting in front of a bank, and they're trying to figure out if this bank's going to get robbed and when. And they have this small side dialogue where they're basically saying, you know, these banks, the real robbers are right here, you know? I mean, they're taking them from all these communities and all the people and whatever. And those are the things that really hit you off on what the director's trying to get across,
big
right?
Time. Big time.
So it comes to the very end. Well, I don't want to give the end off, right?
Yeah, well, listen, but you can basically don't give it away because it's a cool ending.
Yeah.
But the overall zhuzh that I got out of it is that, listen, faced with protecting your family, what's more American? You know what I mean? Like, what's more, not even American, just what makes, look, I mean, you're not going to sit by and let everything in your life be stolen.
Yeah.
You know? And yeah, I thought it was dope. Didn't you just love the Bridges character?
Yeah.
Like, just he's seen so much life. It's almost like he gets it, you know, but it's like, but I chose this side, and my job is to stop you. You know what I mean? Like, that's me. That's what I chose.
Yeah.
That's who I am. If I don't do it, then I'm not that, you know?
Right.
I think you see that a lot in the world where once you choose sides, you choose sides. You know what I mean?
Right.
Remind me of like Heat. You know, like when he basically sits down and says, I'm a bad guy. You do what you do. I'll do what I do. We'll see how it ends up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I was on the side of the brothers, man. I was
big
rooting for them
time.
all the way.
Big time, but I got it. I got where it was going.
What was that movie with the assassin where he had a silencer on the shotgun?
Oh, No Country for Old Men.
Yeah.
The movie
similar.
really reminded me, like the pacing of
Right,
it,
yeah,
the
totally.
cinematography, like
No Country,
stylistically.
much more violent, much better badass, but it was great. Yeah,
Right.
they were very similar films too. I thought so too. Yeah. Big time. No Country was one of the most.
Yeah, it was
Just
so
his
good.
weapon was so dope. And I was like, what the fuck
Yeah.
is this? So, very cool. Yeah, so check it out, man. I agree, Justin. Great movie. Great fucking movie. People will dig it. Having said that, we do have fan questions. Again, these are very straightforward and very simple, but I think they're important to answer. So we'll knock this out really quickly. Sean from Wahoo, Nebraska wants to know, what do we present our films on, DVD or Blu-ray? Well, we do not do DVD or Blu-ray because in today's world you can't afford to put your shit on those things. They'll walk out the door and you'll be fucked, So, no, we look, everything that we do, it's on a protected drive, and we present from that. That's all I guess I can really say about it is that...
that's what he's asking. How we present?
Yeah, how do we present our films?
Oh, yeah. I thought he meant like how you were selling it. And obviously,
Oh, no. How do we
going away
physically
from that,
present
but,
it? Yeah,
It's highly decrypted.
Yeah, well, we just
Encrypted.
don't put it in a position to be taken. It's the world we live in today. Someone get their hands on it, it's over. So it's got to be very protected. Kelly from Chicago just wants to know, what is our favorite state to play? You know what, Kelly? I guess I don't really have a favorite state because I love people, period. And, I will tell you this, though. Because I grew up in Texas, there is a feeling of home that I get whenever I'm there. I just feel it. And I assume it's probably the same feeling you get when you roll into Iowa or,
You know what's weird though, man? Even I didn't grow up in Texas, but I get the same kind of... Just we've been there so many damn times, man, over the years. And it's always our best shows.
Yeah.
And we always have so many memories. And we literally can come to these hotels like the Minger or whatever, and I'm like going, yeah, there it is. Feel like you're home.
My favorite memory from tour 2 was in San Antonio when they had like a goat, and the goat just somehow kept getting out. Remember from the house?
Yeah.
And he would get really horny and then try humping you. I remember he was trying to hump Craig, and it was so funny. And
there's just something cool about Texas. It just got a cool vibe to it, It's always hotter than fuck, but I'll tell you this, the people are always cool as fuck in Texas. Always good crowds.
Yeah.
But that was my childhood. Was there many good years, and a lot of them were before my dad was injured. So I have good memories, man, of like really cool shit, and always feels good to play there. But Justin will say this: where's my favorite city in America?
Oh, it's Portland, Maine.
Yeah. I mean, I show up to that town, I'm like, oh, fuck yeah, let's go. I mean, Justin said, I very rarely leave the back of the bus. Portland, Maine, I'm out. Let's go walk around. Let's just go hang, Altitude fucks with me. Hate altitude.
Where?
Altitude,
Where?
Denver.
Oh, yeah.
If it wasn't the altitude, I'd love Denver. But Albuquerque's the same way. The fucking altitude fucks with me. It takes me about 3 days to acclimate. Once I'm after those 3 days, love it. But I get really bad headaches and like my hands swell from altitude. So I start to get that altitude sickness. A lot of it's because I'm a smoker. So I'm really getting a lot of oxygen, just oxygen starved for a few days. But yeah, I mean, I like it. Look, there's nothing like New York City to me. I mean, I'm playing a show in the Big Apple. There's nothing like that. That's awesome. There's nothing like New Orleans. That's one of my favorite cities in the world. Every time I step off the tour bus in New Orleans and I hear the fucking music and the madness coming off the fucking French Quarter, I'm like, fuck yeah, let's go get some gumbo, bitch.
Yeah, some of these places, man, we got some memories though, man. And doing the Spielberg show and just,
man. Touring, I've said this before, it's a special thing. It's a special thing. Very few people ever get to experience the way we are fortunate enough to experience. At 3 a.m., listening to that wind howling, and the lights are off, the blue neons are on, and you're in the back of the bus, staring out the window, and when you wake up in the morning and everybody's starting to get up in a new city, it's just such a good fucking vibe, man. It's just, especially with that team, you just tackle this, this team, you go after it,
Yeah.
And no one knows how you plan it, but you don't really know how the day is going to end. There's always that hint of, things could go awesome, things could go sideways. You don't know, and you fight to control it all, and it's just a special thing. So I think touring just about anywhere is fun, but Texas is awesome. I love being in a new city every fucking day. I love it, So
Yeah.
Alrighty, last question, and Bree from Wellington, New Zealand says, "Hey boys, 360 degree is getting big." I'm assuming. Oh, she's talking about filming, 360 filming.
Oh, right.
Any plans to use it? I thought we might have talked about this in the past. We'd love to. I'm sure we will. As it gets bigger and bigger, I'm sure we will.
I had a meeting the other day for a music video, and I met with the director or producers, whatever, and we were talking about that. And a good point that they brought up is what 360 and VR is doing is kind of taking the look of movies away from movies. So, for example, if you look at something in 360, it doesn't feel like a movie. It doesn't feel cinematic.
Right.
So whether or not it'll eventually take over, I think it will never get to that level where it'll take over. Or
no, it will be as it is right now. It's a separate animal. It's not even the same thing. 360 VR is an experience, a physical experience. Even though you're just sitting there, right? It's like it's the way it's not an entertainment platform. I mean, meaning in the sense like you stop. I just say this. Watching a movie is a lean-back platform, meaning you kick back, you watch a movie.
Right.
360 is what they call a push-it experience. You know what I mean? You actively get involved. That's about going to, but there'll be movies and things like that do it. It will never replace the cinematic film.
Well, the thing is, if you're just shooting 360, that's one thing. That's not exactly how they're doing some of these films. They're shooting some aspects. They're integrating it on screens to for instance, when we did our tour and we're presenting the what was that movie?
Conjuring?
It wasn't The Conjuring. It was the other one, the Scary Movie 3 was the trailer we were playing on the virtual reality goggles. I'd never watched the film, so I don't.
God damn it!
The one with the kid.
Insidious. Insidious 3, right? So if you look at that, most of those things are 3D image manufactured into the space. So the reason that's important is because you still can create a cinematic vibe, right? Because you're making up. Imagine this. Imagine the reason you're going to go out and shoot this beautiful sunset. It's only going to be there for this brief period of time. The landscape's only going to look like this right now on this day, right? So you want to get those shots. Right. Imagine if you could just recreate that in any environment, right? And you would be in it going, wow, this is beautiful, right? That being able to get exactly what you want a person to see and then direct them in that direction, it really is just duplicating this whole thought that we potentially live in a virtual reality, What if you could just make an amazing experience always, when you put these on, instead of just by chance?
Well, I think it's going to be the same thing as 3D. 3D is a separate animal than watching a movie as a movie. Most people who just want to watch movies, they avoid 3D like the plague.
3D is basically dead now.
Yeah, right. But it's still in theaters everywhere. It's still in theaters.
They still.
Fuck yes, all of them. Every big summer blockbuster is in fucking 3D.
Really?
All the Disney Pixar's in 3D. It's still on some home TV systems. All they started to go with it as people don't want to do that shit in their house. They don't want to wear glasses in their house. But it was a separate experience. Most directors opted out of it if they had to give it the choice. I mean, it was just a separate animal. Going to a 3D movie was a different thing. It was not about enjoying the film for what it was. It was about the gimmick of 3D.
Right.
How much shit is going to be as you're going there. You know what I mean? Avatar was the only film I've ever seen that was worth the shit on 3D. I saw it regular and 3D. It was badass on 3D.
I did. I saw it.
Yeah, it was
same
badass
thing.
on 3D. It was whoa. But yeah, I mean, I think this in the same way that Jack Black is printing analog records right now, and then the vinyl is exploding again, like a huge. It's a cool format. It's always going to exist. The feature film, people love watching it. I think the screens will change for features. And they're already starting to see how they kind of bend in. I think they're going to continue to get longer because it's like panoramic, right? You can just see more without going 180. You know what I mean?
I mean, it would be cool if the entire... They have something like this in the planetarium in Chicago where
Dome?
a dome. That would be cool.
I've seen in the planetarium the tornado film where the guy filmed straight up the tornado on IMAX.
Oh.
And yeah, it's really fucking cool. You could like go into and you actually literally are like, whoa, and you can see everything you saw.
Wow.
Yeah, it's fucking really cool.
To me, it would be fat, dude. Is like when we gotta try to do this next time we're in Australia. In Melbourne, they have that place where it's this huge, flat, open space, and they have like lasers every so often pointed down. And they hand you a gun, you put on the virtual reality, and they're like
real
cars.
Gun?
Yeah. No, not real gun.
Oh,
okay. And there's cars really there, but then they're there virtually, right?
Oh.
So it tracks you moving around the space, but your friends are there with guns too, and zombies are coming out everywhere, and, you're back to back, and you can literally be back to back, and you're run over by the car, and there is a car there, so in real life, and it's the same dimensions, everything else.
Yeah.
So to me that would be pretty fascinating to do that. I want to try to do that next time.
Melbourne, we're coming. We're gonna do some zombie wars with you.
That's cool.
All right, very cool, guys. I think that brings us to the end. As always, guys, thanks for listening, man. Everything continues to build. That is all because of you. You keep listening. You keep watching. We'll keep making them. Justin, Steve, say goodbye.
See ya, people.
We out. Bye-bye.
Paramerican Radio. Beautiful friend, it's the end.